All right, everyone, welcome back to GK Pro's post-round coverage of the 2019 Idlewild Open, driven by the Nati and Innova champion discs. I'm Nate Perkins, and I'm joined here with Brian Earhart.
How's it going, everybody?
This is the final 9 holes.
Final 9 holes to this incredible tournament. Really one of the better ran tournaments that we as pros have played all season. They did a fantastic job, so shout-outs to the staff, tournament directors, volunteers, spotters. I think every card had a U-Disc scorer except for maybe a couple. So really a pleasure to play this event, and really it's been a pleasure to watch Kevin absolutely shred the front 9 on this final round, taking a 7-stroke lead on Conrad, who's trying his best to chase him down, but really it's been kind of difficult from what we've seen.
Yeah, he's got a 7-stroke lead moving into the final 9 holes, one of the biggest leads we've seen in recent history at a Pro Tour event.
Oh yeah, and the best part about this whole thing is going into this back 9, we have a lot of holes where anything can happen still.
Yeah, things can happen. We've seen actually Kevin lose this tournament on this very back 9 in the past, so very interesting to see. It's definitely in his hands. Really tough to do to come from behind if Kevin continues to play as well as he has.
Calvin's going to kick off hole 10. I think the longest playing par 3 on the course, and he has smoked the shot.
And that's an eagle. That's a 7-speed.
It's a huge shot. It says it's 368 feet. Oh.
And that little trickle out right there can be the difference between a 3 and a 4.
Oh yeah, if you hit early on this hole, the scramble up to the basket is so challenging. And he gets a very fortunate kick back into the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, that kick and that roll, it's going to give them both the angle they need to be able to get up and down. And again, we're seeing James have to throw a different disc here. He's going Thunderbird.
And it probably was not as stable or too stable for what he wanted. I'm assuming he's throwing his T-Bird on this normally. Kevin going with an A2, I believe.
Yeah, it's a
putting himself about 20.
Solid approach.
Dan pin high about 15 feet, and James has a tough patent pending downhill diagonal patent pending with a putter he has to throw.
He's certainly trying to throw this one in.
And from where he was at, that was a very, very good result. Calvin with a birdie look here on this really challenging par 3.
This is nasty, Brian. To get to circle one's edge with an eagle.
Almost capitalizes, but again, I've seen a lot of big numbers in this hole, so a 3 not going to lose you strokes here. Great up and down by Dan. Another up and down from James. That was a great putter shot from where he was at. This hole is interesting in the sense that, oh no! And that was really the first real mistake we've seen from Kevin this round.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Little chain out to the right. And Kevin's going to take a bogey, unfortunately.
It was a pretty unforced error there from Kevin. Rather routine putt. Looked like he didn't have much in his way, his normal straddle putt, and just missed a little right, and it fell out.
We see Kevin's lead dwindle to 6 now as we move into hole number 11, which they have moved back a little bit from previous years. We still have the elevated basket, but now instead of throwing, kind of a flat shot, it really used to be a gimme birdie. Now the players have to throw some sort of hyzer flip up the gap.
Yeah, it certainly made it harder. It's still playing as the easiest hole on the course, nearly half a stroke under par. But like you said, that it changed the shape just enough.
And for these players, a 2 is still very necessary, or else you are probably going to lose strokes.
Yeah, this is lead card, final round. They should have this shot dialed. But
okay.
That's the best shot that we've seen here on this coverage.
Landed it on a dime on that tiny turf green.
Yeah.
Dan hoping to follow suit. And he just looks a little bit off today, just releasing a little bit early, forehands coming out a little bit high. And I would not chalk it up to nerves for Dan either because, he's played on plenty of final cards. He plays very, very well out east. Kevin getting a little bit over on it. Decently fortunate kick. I think he'll still have an open look at the basket from about 30.
Dan's got a full approach from over there. Puts it up on the hill. A little bit of a death putt coming back at it. And look at this that James has right here. He's almost on hole 10's fairway. He's going, any putter almost sinks it.
Gosh.
He's just so dialed with that putter. And Kevin having to go to a very extended straddle right there, just chains out left.
And we just talked about how easy the hole has been playing, and we just saw our lead card take only really potentially one birdie on it.
It's a good putt from Kevin. I mean, a similar distance to the putt that he just missed on the elevated pin. And Calvin does card the only birdie.
Definitely a demanding gap regardless, and Calvin's going to take a stroke on the field here, and we're going to move into hole number 12, which I actually really like the way this hole plays.
Yeah, this is one of Idlewild's signature holes for sure. Par 4, 644 feet, a very sensitive landing zone.
Very sensitive.
It slopes left to right really quick, and there's only a few spots that you can land to have a solid approach to this pin.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of different ways to play this tee shot. Sidearms, turnovers, straight shots, drivers, putters. Just really, really fun hole to watch the players dissect. And I think Calvin's going to go big turnover.
We've seen him just actually throw this straight shot, trying to put himself in a position to have another straight to hyzer shot.
And I like that play with how far and straight he can throw a driver. I think that's a good position for him.
And Dan is actually going.
He's going Zeus, and I think he's trying to
right here.
Oh yeah,
he's trying to break the corner. The problem with that shot is pushing it too deep. Mm-hmm. He's thrown a good shot, but he's going to be in a position where the angle to access the green is pinched.
He's pinched and right behind a tree to where he's going to have to throw a standstill backhand. And James throwing old Greeny on a beautiful drifting line and unfortunately hits that last tree on the end.
Yeah, that's the tree to beat. You either want to go just inside that tree or just around it.
And Kevin's going aggressive here.
And there's that forehand just pushing long. That is not the spot you want to be in.
And James actually, after that kick, has a decent position to get up and down for birdie. A little bit high.
Needs to get just past that. And again, that's the tree that you need to beat. You need to hyzer just around that pin. The tricky part about this upshot is how easy it is to push it too straight.
And go way deep down the hill. Because right when you get to the basket, the hill starts sloping way downwards. I think this is a Firebird that he was throwing or an Eagle.
Yeah, if that gets a skip, yeah, it just needed that hyzer skip. It's going to be outside circle too, but you can see how right to left you need that disc to move.
It's such a specific, like you said, specific landing zone. None of the players got to where they wanted to be.
Yeah.
And Kevin going with a really technical forehand roller. And
that's a good-looking shot. That's going to be no man's land, though. That basket right there is completely blocked from any putts that are short. Dan also going with forehand roller. This looks a little deep. Gets a little wall ride.
Little Tony Hawk action.
And he might have a window for a long 60-foot look for birdie. It's a nice view that we got here. That basket's lit up down there in between the trees.
James going a little bit deep. And this hole just shows the type of creativity that Idlewild makes the players have to display. Kind of takes a lot of, even the best throwers in our game, it can take them out of their comfort zone and make them throw something strange.
Yeah.
Kevin, after trying to throw a cut roller forehand that flips up, he's about 70 away.
He does have a look, though. It looks like this one's low ceiling. He might try and stab it. Oh, he's going high.
And that was really clean-looking putt from Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, over the years, Brian, we have not seen a lot of threes carded on this hole 12. This hole definitely playing over par this year.
And with how short you can really throw the tee shot, it's very interesting. It's almost like a reverse par 4, where you throw a short approach and then you throw your drive.
Yep.
So it's definitely one of the more interesting par 4s we see out here. Dan with a long putt from the wall.
Man, he's going to go from having a look, circle 2 look for birdie to a 20-footer for his bogey now.
Oh, no. And you hate seeing that. Another chain out right from James.
Yeah, we just don't see him miss those, really. We hardly ever see James miss from inside the circle, and I believe that's the third, maybe even the fourth putt that we've seen leak out from James.
Just shows that even the best players in the world, when they're on this stage and put in these types of scenarios, that from afar, sitting on your armchair, it looks like it's easy. But
yeah.
the pressure and this, the desire to win is definitely there.
Shout out to Basket Case Disc Golf out of Tulsa, Oklahoma for helping keep these guys on the road. GK Productions is actually going to be heading up to the Mid-America Open to film the famed Harmony Bins course.
Beautiful property.
Really excited to see that course on coverage.
And right now, moving into hole number 13, this has now been changed to a par 4 this year, the KY Gap hole. But it's definitely a twoable hole with a clean tee shot.
Yeah, we've seen it twoed a few times this tournament.
The angle off the tee that it makes you throw, though, a lot of players who like to throw flat have a little bit more challenge. You have to kind of throw something baby hyzer and push it forward like Calvin's doing perfectly. Oh.
Yeah, you almost have to saw this one off.
You have to saw it off with something a little bit more understable. You have to push it forward, and as it's going left, it's flattening. And it's definitely a gettable 2 here, and Kev definitely has that hyzer flip game to show.
This is also one of those holes, though, that if you do not make the gap, if you hit early, if you go OB early, it can turn into a huge number.
Oh, yeah. If you're not jumping your drive into the middle of those soldier trees, the approach to that little island is very challenging. Hence why I think they changed it to a par 4.
And this one gets through and just needs to beat that last tree that might have actually been hot heading for the creek even.
Yeah, he smoked that thing. And the skip he got was really intense. James throwing baby hyzer, that's a little bit more safe of a play. And again, if he would have got that through those trees, he would have had an easy look at an eagle.
Yeah. And this is one of those decisions you have to make. Do you cross the creek? Do you lay it in front and trust your putt? Looks like Calvin is going for across the creek, uses that backstop. Great looking shot.
Oh, yeah.
And we've seen it before. Kevin's jump putt has been saving him strokes left and right on these approaches right here.
Oh, my gosh.
To be able to do that for your approach
from about 100 feet,
it changes everything because now you're not turning your shoulder, you're not turning your hips, you're just jumping straight toward the target.
Yeah, it's extremely helpful, and we only have a handful of players on tour that can jump putt that far.
Yeah, Paul McBeth,
Eagle, Alex Russell is another name that comes to mind. Ricky, but can really dwarf a lot of courses, especially the shorter par fours.
And there's a lot of shots out here at Idlewild where that comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
And these are such unique greens. The first time I saw this, Brian.
You see a lot of love being put into this course. The locals truly love this place, and you can easily tell. Kevin snags his 3. This is another one of those holes where a 4, even though it's a par, feels like a bogey. Feels like you lost a stroke. 2 feels like an eagle birdie hybrid. But 3 really is what it feels like you have to take on this hole. So looks like our players are going to be taking those and moving on to the incredibly difficult par 4 that is number 14.
Yeah, we've got a staggered gap here. Another one of those gaps where it is the only route on the hole, and birdie is out of the question if you do not pipe the gap.
And it looks like, from the tee pad, it looks like, we'll just throw a nice, flat, stable forehand. The trees and the gap are staggered as such to where it's actually a more favored hyzer flip forehand if you're going to throw that.
Mm-hmm.
So something overstable is not really what you want off this tee shot. So I love the way they position the tee pad to force that.
I mean, this gap is maybe 10 feet wide. And that looks pured if it can get past. And just as you said, Calvin threw a little too stable. It started hyzering too early, and it doesn't get the second grouping of trees that it needs to get past.
You need to push it very far forward on that hyzer angle, so something a little bit less stable. Kevin has gotten over on that a little bit.
Yeah, and he's been having trouble with his tee shot. We saw that early misfire yesterday, and you can see him in the background. He's unsure why he's not piping the gap like he practiced.
That's the shot,
That
folks.
is beautiful. That's a Zeus. No. That can't be right.
I don't think that was the right cut.
I don't think so. I think that was a different cut, but that was a beautiful looking Zeus shot.
That was perfect. Exactly how I chalked it up in the description of the hole. Slightly stable to understable. Or
Look
you could
at
just do this.
though, Brian. This is the Ching rock, understable rock. And beautiful shot, but as you see, it flipped over a little too much, kind of cut roll into the hill, but he's gonna have something.
He'll have a look for a par. You really have to blast this tee shot perfectly if you want to look at birdie. James might have a little bit of a window.
And he's just throwing through a wall. It's kind of like pick a gap and throw it hard. Even this can be a little tricky.
Man.
That OB Creek makes you get that disc up, and looks like Kevin hit one that he really couldn't see that well.
But as you can see, this hole forces you to be creative. You can't, especially on the second shot, unless you've absolutely murdered the drive, you have to throw some sort of interesting trick flex, or there's really no open lie unless you get a good break. James going a tiny bit deep on that, but he's still within circle 1. He should be about 29, 30 feet.
So, we actually haven't seen Dan throw an upshot yet. I'm still semi-curious if that was the original cut. That would be groundbreaking material, Brian.
Yeah, I've never seen we've seen eagles.
Yeah, we've seen it get down to the flat.
But never make the green.
Yeah, across the creek. I'm not even sure if that's a real thing. Yeah,
we're gonna watch the scoreboard and see.
Yep.
Cans the bogey putt. This hole is brutal if you are not pinpoint off the tee. And it was for birdie, so his drive did not hit the green.
Makes me feel a little bit better.
That would have made me want to shower if that was an eagle. That would have been disgusting.
Yeah,
but
that still great shot from Dan.
A fantastic birdie on this hole, and Calvin also gets the birdie. So, that's even seeing more than 2 birdies on this hole is amazing.
Yeah, it's impressive.
This back stretch here is one of the toughest that we see all season.
And we've seen Kevin struggle with this tee shot on hole 15. He has hit early left both times. It's a difficult tee shot, another staggered gap off the tee, and another landing zone that is really small.
I think, we see players, you have to throw uphill, so hyzer release is definitely easier for that. But because you're going so far uphill, you have to throw more understable of a disc as well. So we're going to see some interesting disc selections here.
Calvin going with his straighter eagle, and he has released that one just a little bit late, and that is not in a good spot. Dan opting to go with the forehand. He's going to play this one on a slight ante.
And that is the tree that we see so many players hit. And it's so frustrating to hit that tree because if you were just a tiny bit more of an angle on release, you would miss it, but I've seen so many players hit it.
And this is the night strike. Perfect disc for this hole. Just
Absolutely.
A straight shooter. Kevin gives it up. And, Kevin's got 6 strokes, but if anything's going to happen, it's going to start happening right here. Mm-hmm. He really needs to hit this drive. And he goes 3 for 3. He said it yesterday during coverage. He loves that tree. If he was here, he'd be laughing it off with us right now. He's going to go the same glidey D2. And that's really the tree that he wanted to hit off the drive right there. He is going to have something to get up and down, but still going to be difficult.
Yeah, this tee shot is so crucial for securing at least a par. But if you are out of position here, even pitching out almost secures you a bogey. Dan's going to put himself a little bit too far to the right. He'll have to get through a wall of trees. And Calvin off in Jurassic Park here. And a pretty solid out from where he was at.
Okay, so Kevin is actually really pinched. He's going to have to go patent pending and try and hit this gap on Annie. He actually didn't even have the gap. He actually was just laying that one up to the top of the hill. So he's going to have to get up and down for his bogey while James is still in a position to get a birdie.
That's a great sidearm from Calvin. This approach to the green looks like a routine hyzer, but the fact that the green slopes all the way down to the right, those faster discs, really you have to be careful with. The play that James is playing, which is
look at this
extremely high level.
Look at that body control.
Matches the green perfectly. Yeah, from that terrible footing on this hole.
Yeah, and that tree right in front of him. That we've
That's
seen
a great
it, and
shot.
We've talked about it a few other times. The way that James and Garrett Girthy are able to throw and get their body out of the way on that really difficult approach. There's that jump putt. Once again, putting him close. And that is a great par save.
Oh, yeah.
After being where he was on that right side.
That's going to feel like a birdie, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
James, after a phenomenal flip-up putter turnover. That's how you chalk the hole up right there.
Yeah, night strike to flippy putter. It's amazing that he's doing this on that hole. That's such a difficult angle for the backhand.
It's one of the tougher par fours we play all season, I think. Dan getting up and down for the par, and Kevin, unfortunately, is going to have to take this short putt for a bogey. And that's a 2-stroke swing.
Yeah, just like that, we have a ball game. I mean, he still has 4 strokes, but we are moving into one of the highest, the most variance. This hole is going to bring you the most variance that you're going to see on this course. It's a par 5, 969 feet, but there's OB the entire way. There's wind. And if you go OB early,
it's really tough, especially if you're trying to do what a lot of these players are doing, which is throwing a wide hyzer over OB the entire way.
Yep.
Toughest part here is the whole weekend we've had a very challenging, strong crosswind that you can't quite feel a lot from off the tee. So we see a lot of drives being carried way left. So it takes a lot of trust from these players. James is actually playing a very safe option, which I like a lot. He's going straight.
Yeah, he that never was out of bounds.
And that's, to me, if you have that shot, is a much smarter way of going about it.
And that's a huge tee shot to get that one in. Even with 4 strokes, Kevin's certainly feeling some pressure on this tee shot.
Calvin skied this, and I do not think it's going to be in bounds.
Yeah, Calvin was lining up the same shape as James was and just releases that one too high, too much hyzer.
Dan looks like he might be throwing the wide hyzer, which I was seeing a lot of the players do. And that's got to get down. And I don't know whether or not that's safe.
Oh, that could be in.
No out of bounds graphic. I'm not quite sure where he's at. I'm not sure. It looks like Kevin's lining up that wide hyzer.
This is the tee shot of the tournament right here.
That looks like it's going to be great.
Yeah, if that gets the swing, and look how close that is. I mean, it's in an ideal spot, but any wider, and he's taken that OB back down below the hill.
Well, any wider, and that crosswind turns into a headwind, and the disc flips up and gets pushed.
Yeah.
Calvin just murdering a shot. That's going a little bit too far right, though.
Is that going to get over the OB?
Did not quite see it.
This is another big shot. He has to take this one out over the OB, but he has plenty of power. I mean,
oh my gosh!
Any mortal player,
hyzer,
and that is a really risky shot. But because Kevin just has so much power, he's able to take that hyzer. That's like 500 foot of power.
He played
right there.
that crosswind perfectly. I think it matches the way he throws really, really well. I think James is going to do the same thing. Little helicopter follow through, and yep, there's that crosswind helping him.
Look at this, swinging right back toward the creek.
And that's fantastic.
Yeah, he's going to have a 50-footer left for the Eagle 3. This one started out with quite a bit of hyzer. That could be pushing the OB left. And once again, he's right on the edge. That might have been saved again.
I think he is going to be safe on that one.
This is a tough spot to be in. Calvin looks like he did not cross the OB over there. And he has to decide whether he's trying to cross the creek. He kind of turns it over, and he's going to be just short of the creek with the putt. This is also a really tricky spot, Brian. I mean, do you throw it from here? Do you jump putt it from here?
Because unlike the other island greens here, this is a true island. Usually the backside's going to be open, but on this one, you have to land on the turf if you want to stay in bounds.
Yeah.
And he's put it right underneath the basket, and Kev with a potential eagle putt. And that would have definitely been a dagger.
Yeah.
But again, a birdie on this hole, especially with how bad the wind was, is really, really solid.
Yeah, Kevin coming up big, carding a birdie, but James still has an opportunity to cut this lead down to 3.
Just off the band.
And that's really been the difference today, Brian. That was the big difference. Things could have gone a lot different if James would have connected on a few more of those putts. A couple inside the circle misses and a couple from just outside circle 1.
James is going to take a 4, tie Kevin on the hole, and we have a 4-stroke lead going into hole 17. What are your thoughts on hole 17, Nate?
It's one of the craziest maps you're ever going to see as far as
Yeah,
amount of OB and amount of inbounds territory.
It's the shortest par 4 I think I've ever played.
Yeah.
But it's interesting in the fact that I call this the slot machine hole.
Yep.
I've seen the most pure drives get kicked out of bounds. I've seen the most shanked shots get kicked safe, and then they scramble up for a 3. A lot of these players, I think, are going to be trying to just ace the basket.
Yeah.
Go out of bounds in the creek with how much OB there really is on this hole.
And James this is the night strike once again. Look at this late flip. What a beautiful flight. Oh, my goodness, dude. That's just so unfortunate, Brian. That's a pure shot all the way to the pin, and he's still going to be OB short.
Putting for a 3 from 30. But really, if you're trying to pure the line, what else are you going to do?
Look at that, though.
And he's going to have...
Gets a little sneaky, but he's going to have an eagle look.
If he wants the chance going out of bounds on a 50-foot putt.
Yeah. Kevin going to try and hit that same gap as well. He's going D2 here. Just a little turned over. Anything can happen with that one.
And he is out of bounds.
He's going to be outside circle 2.
Well outside, I believe.
Yeah, Brian, slot machine hole is, probably not too far. Look at that. That was
put your quarter in.
Yeah, you
hold the handle, and you see what happens.
That was one of the more pure shots. Calvin playing that one safe out to the right side, and he gets a reverse kick and roll into the creek. Oh, and just sneaks over. So Kevin is actually right at circle 2's edge. Looks like he's probably just going to lay this one up for his par.
He knows where he's at, and he knows that if he just pars out, very strong chance of taking the win here. Would have been a nice eagle for Dan, especially after having a kind of a tougher round. James from the bridge. Man, James and that band today have been really hanging out a little bit too much. Unfortunate to watch him putt like that.
Yeah, you said it before, Brian. The viewers, spectators, we're so used to seeing players like James just make every single putt. And we as players, we kind of recognize that he's one of the best putters in the world. But you can see here that it's not automatic.
When you're in contention for the win, things change a little bit. Mindset changes a little bit. You start reaching for stuff that maybe you're not supposed to reach for. It's things that, unless you're in that position, it's kind of tough to explain.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to move into the final hole, which is actually one of the toughest finishing par 4s that I've ever played.
Yeah, this is no doubt, dude. This is the hardest hole on the course for the third round in a row, playing nearly a full stroke over par.
Another hole where there's so many different ways to play the tee shot. A lot of players, even the best players, at this tournament are playing this hole for par. You have to just lace something as far and as straight as you possibly can. We see putters getting down there. We see drivers getting out of the mouth sometimes if you're absolutely lacing shots, but you really just want to keep this one in the middle, which is really tough.
Really cool to see James reaching for the night strike on this straight shot. Gets this one a little turned over, but he has covered some ground, and he's not going to be in a position for birdie, but he can certainly pitch up to the mouth and get up and down for a par.
And a par is going to actually take strokes in the field on this hole.
Absolutely.
He's thrown a little bit too much hyzer on that, and that side of the fairway is really challenging to get out of. Kevin, looks like he's got is that a putter in his hand? Putter or mid-range? He just needs to put this one straight in the middle of the fairway.
And he's done just that.
That was a fantastic tee shot. He's actually going to have a look at getting out of the mouth to the basket. Calvin also going with a rock, I see. And once you crest the hill, it really doesn't matter what disc it is. Anything, regardless of speed, can get way down there.
And, it's difficult enough to throw that far, that straight, but then you've got this slope right here where discs just slide right off of it, and a foot or two off to the left or right side can just ruin your chances at a birdie.
Damn.
I mean, even that little trickle right there, that took him from a position to have an angle to nothing.
It's so specific. This whole fairway is extremely specific, especially if you're pitching out. You have to take a step out and see exactly where you want to put the disc. And Calvin actually has a very fortunate lie and has kind of sawed off his forehand a little bit, but gets a pretty fortunate kick off the tree. He's going to be about 30, 35 short for a birdie look, actually.
Kevin's shot was clean enough that he's able to take this forehand out on a pure hyzer. He's put it in the middle, and he's just got to lay that one up.
And I think he has it secured. James is going to pitch out. That's a pretty perfect spot. There's a good finishing sidearm from Dan.
Yeah.
That's a great way to finish the round. Last Guardian Tree is going to knock James down a little bit. This course is so fun to watch tournament play on. I feel like there's unexpected things happening around every corner. Players get creative, throwing trick shots, getting taken out of their comfort zone, and I feel like not a lot of courses on tour make the players do that. And as you can see, Kevin knows what the score is.
Yeah, this is a really cool moment. I mean, this is history right here. I've got the chills. We all know that Kevin Jones is, he's top 5 talent. But
he's beyond top 5 talent.
Yeah, he's pushing the limits. He's pushing Ricky. He's pushing Paul, Simon, and Eagle. He is making them
pushing
work.
Everybody.
Pushing everybody. This is just a really cool moment, though, to see him take down his first Disc Golf Pro Tour event. We've seen him in contention before.
Routinely. He's routinely in the mix, and the kid works harder than almost any player I know on the road. So to see him get his, get that win that I feel like he deserves more than almost anybody, it's just such an awesome thing to see such a good kid get the victory. And as you can tell, he's very, very excited. He's been on a hot streak lately, so it's been fun to see the confidence that he's been displaying in front of everybody.
Kevin Jones, everybody, your 2019 Idlewild Open champion.
Congratulations, first and foremost, Kevin. How does it feel?
Oh, man, it's kind of rushing over me right now. All sorts of emotions. I'm just happy to get the monkey off my back, though. First big win, I feel like, and this is the last tournament I'm playing until Worlds also, so I feel really confident now, especially.
Well, last year you were so close. You had such a gregreat battle, but like you mentioned, you came up short. What did it feel like to come back this year and get redemption on it?
Man, this course is so hard, and especially when it's coming down the stretch, it's just extremely stressful, and you've got to be on your shots, and you have to be committing. And I'm just lucky enough today to hold up the crown. I feel really good about it.
So last year and in previous years, we've seen James, Conrad, and yourself. What is it about this course that maybe brings out the best in you two to come out here and consistently be on top?
Well, for Conrad, it's easy. He's the best line thrower in the game. As far as just hitting the gap and getting down the fairway, he's the best in the world at it. And then for me, it's my sidearms increased and improved so much over time that it's definitely now the reason that I'm here is because of my work on my sidearm.
So great confidence coming off this weekend. You said you're gonna not play next weekend. What are you gonna do to prep for Worlds in just a couple weeks?
So I've been having some back trouble, so I'll take a few days off, probably 4 days off, and then I'm gonna head to Peoria and just start repping the course, playing both courses. Really, I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, well, we had a great turnout. Of course, everybody here on site. The Idlewild turnout is awesome, but then we also had a great turnout online watching live. Anything you want to say to everybody out there?
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this awesome coverage. I've found myself that it's becoming way better and extremely interesting to watch. So thanks for watching, and shout out to my fans. Hope I made you proud today.
Any caddies or sponsors you want to shout out?
Yeah, I had a couple caddies. Thanks Chad, and thanks Mindy also for carrying the bag for me.
All right, Kevin Jones, everybody, your 2019 Idlewild Open champion. We'll see you next time.
And well said from Kevin Jones. Kevin is going to be heading into the World Championships after a Pro Tour victory.
Not too bad, not too shabby. Some momentum to definitely help him get up there. And this course is definitely good practice for the Northwoods Gold course that we're going to be tackling at Worlds. And we will catch you out there again. Thank you so much for joining us for the back nine. What a round to watch. And congratulations to Kevin Jones again. Make sure to subscribe to GK Pro, and we will see you next time.
Later, guys.